All right. Hi, guys. I'm Professor Mendoza and I teach accounting. Let's go ahead and walk through perpetual inventory. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and put perpetual inventory here. We're making it legible. And let's just talk about it for a second. Perpetual will mean continuous. Okay. So this is going to be the type of inventory that we think of when we look at scanners. So every time we go to the grocery store, it scans because everything has a barcode on it. We think of Target, one of my favorite places. Anything that will be consistently updated in inventory, that is perpetual. It's going to be used by big businesses. Okay, so that's going to be like Walmart, Target, any big business that you can think of. If it has a barcode and it scans, that's going to be perpetual inventory. Okay, so think of continuous, perpetual, continuous. So here is we're going to put our equation. So we have beginning inventory plus our purchases minus our cost of goods sold. I'm going to put COGS, that's cost of goods sold, equals your ending inventory. Okay, well, let's talk about this. Our beginning inventory is what we start with, of course. Then we have any purchases. Those are going to be any inventory that we have bought over this significant time period, okay? And then we're going to subtract out what we have sold, okay? Remember, cost of goods sold is the amount that we as a business bought it for. The inventory will sell for a different price, right? If you think about it, do we want what we bought to be sold for less than we bought it or more than we bought it? I hope you said more, right? Because that's how we make revenue. That's how we make money. So that's what our cost of goods sold is, the money that we paid for it, okay, to acquire it. Well, that gets me my ending inventory. Another thing when you're thinking of perpetual, what happens is, although it's continuously updated in a software on the computer and it automatically updates inventory, we are still required to do a physical count once a period. That could be once a month, that could be once a year. Our goal is to match our ending inventory that we physically count to this right here that we have in our computer. If it does not match, that's going to be our shrinkage. Okay, that's going to be our shrinkage. Shrinkage is the items that we lost due to theft, due to damage, things like that. Okay, so it's stuff that we no longer have in our possession. That's going to be shrinkage. So ideally, we would want what we physically count and what we have in our books to be exactly the same. But unfortunately, the odds of that happening is not exactly going to happen. Okay, so we will have shrinkage. Again, that's due to theft or damage. All right, shrinkage, what we don't have, and that would be finding the inventory that we have in our software minus the ending inventory that we physically count. Okay. Wow. We can definitely read that. All right, so here is just a rundown on perpetual. Now let's go ahead and flip the script and we're going to go ahead and talk about periodic. Periodic. So if I'm thinking about periodic inventory, that is not continuous. That is not something we have on a scanner that goes automatically. That's something that is physically counted once a period. So our equation is going to look like this, and it looks very familiar, right? Beginning inventory plus my purchases minus my ending inventory equals cost of goods sold. So I'm sure you're thinking, Miss Mendoza, this looks very similar to perpetual. And that's right, it should, right? Periodic, though, switches my last two line items right here. Instead of subtracting out the cost of goods sold, we subtract out our ending inventory because we're assuming since we only have a physical count periodic every period, right? Once a period, we're assuming everything that's not there, we must have sold it. Okay, so this one we are not able to find shrinkage. Again, that's because there is no continuous counting, right? We don't have those barcodes that go straight through the computer and update the inventory automatically. This is periodic. That only is happening when we physically count that inventory at the end of the period. So since it's only count once a period, we're assuming if it's not an ending inventory, we must have sold it. There's no way for us to know if it was actually stolen or not. So it is not possible for us to find shrinkage.